Hello everyone, welcome back to the PHP course, and in this lecture we're going to look at PHP operators. We have only one objective for this lecture, that is to understand and use PHP's arithmetic, comparison and logical operators. So we're going to start with understanding what are operators. So operators are symbols or keywords used to perform operations on variables and values. PHP provides a wide range of operators categorized into different types. So in this lecture, we focus on arithmetic, comparison, and logical operators. So let's begin with arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are used to perform mathematical operations. So in our code example, we have variables x and y defined and initialized with respective values. In our first echo statement, we have the addition operator. So the addition operator is going to give us the sum of x and y. Then on our second echo statement, we have the subtraction operator that is going to give us the difference between the values x and y. Then we have the multiplication operator that is going to multiply x and y and give us an output. Then we have the division operator that is going to divide x and y. Then we have modulus. So modulus, it's going to give us the remainder when x is divided by y. So I'm going to save this. Then let's run the operators file. So I'm going to add some line breaks so that we can see which echo statement has been executed. So we're going to add HTML line breaks. So let's echo. So I'm going to do the same under every echo statement. So let's save this. So remember to have the semicolon to end the statements. So let's now run our application. On the addition operator, we're getting 13, which is 10 plus 3. On the subtraction operator, we're getting 7. On the multiplication, we're getting 30. On the division, we're getting 3.3333. Then lastly on modulus, we're getting 1 as the remainder. We can also check on another arithmetic operator, that is the power operator. So we can say echo, then x double star y. So let's see what this outputs. We can have a line break right here. So let's save and refresh this. So we're getting 1,000. So this is the same as saying variable x raised to power variable y. So we're getting 1,000. So that's it for arithmetic operators. So let's now look at the comparison operators. So comparison operators are used to compare two values and return a Boolean value, that is true or false. Let's look at an example code for comparison operators. So right here we have w, x, y, and z, and we have values assigned to w, x, y, and z. So w, x, and y, they're all integers, and z is assigned a value of 10, which is a string. So we're going to start with the equal operator. So the equal operator returns true if both of the variables are the same. So in this scenario, let's say we are comparing x and y. So if x and y are the same, we should get a true. But if it's not the same value, we'll be getting a false. So now let's compare x and y. So we have x equal to y. So x is 5 while y is 10. So meaning they are not equal. So we should be getting a false. So let's run this. So we're getting a false. So let's run another code where we are comparing x to w. So x and w, they're both having a value of 5. So this should be true. So let's run this. So we are getting true. So before we proceed, let me just explain what var_dump is, because we are using it to output whatever we have on the browser. So var_dump is an inbuilt PHP function that outputs the type and value of one or more variables. So we are able to get the type and values. So for this case, we have this as a type of boolean, and it's returning for us a false. So I just thought that it will be well, before we proceed, that we understand what var_dump is. So let's proceed. So right now, let me just add the HTML line breaks right here. Okay, that looks good. So now let's compare y and z. Notice that y and z have the same value but a different data type. So we are getting a true because the equal operator only checks if the value are the same. It doesn't check the data types, as opposed to the identical operator. So that takes us to identical operator, the 3 equal sign. So that is the identical operator. So this one checks both the value and the data type. So they should have the same value and the same data type at the same time. So if they have the same data type but different values, it will return a false. And also if they have different data types but same value, like in this case we have the value of z as a string and the value of y as an integer, but they have the same value, so this should return a false. So we are getting a false because they have different data types. So if we were to have this as an integer, then it will return a true. So we are getting a true. So I can just have this as a string. So let's now look at not equal operator. So not equal operators. So we are comparing y and z using not equal operator. So not equal operator simply means if these variables contain different values, then it will return a true. But if the values are the same, it should return a false. So in this scenario, y and z, the values are the same. So we should be getting a false, because that will simply mean that we should be getting a false. So let's save this and run. So y and x, they have different values. So this should return a true. So I've just included the not equal to first compare between y and x, and also, y and z, and also y and x. So this should return a false, while this should return a true. So we're getting a false and a true. Now let's have a look at not identical operator. This is a not identical operator. So not identical operator will first check if value of x and y are not the same, and it will also check if the data types are also not the same. So if the two are not the same, the data type and the value, it will return a true. But if either of them, let's say you might have x and y with the same value but different data types, it will return a true. So in this scenario, x and y are of different values but the same data type. So this one is going to return a true because they don't have the same value. So let's run this. Okay, we are getting a true. We can also try comparing y and z. Y and z, they have the same value but different data type. So if we were to compare y and z, this should return a true because they have the same value but now they don't have the same data type, meaning they are not identical. So this should also be true. So another comparison operator that we are going to look at is less than operator. If x is less than y, it will return a true. So x is 5, which is less than y, because y is 10. So we should expect a true on this. So let's save this and run. So we are getting a true. But if we were to have x and w, so x and w are equal, so x is not greater than w, so this should be false. So x and w, x is not less than w. So let's save this and run. So we're getting a false. Another comparison operator we are going to look at is a greater than operator. So we're going to check if x is greater than y. So if x is greater than y, we should get a true, but if it is less than y, we should get a false. So x is 5 and y is 10. So it means we should expect a false because y is greater than x. So let's save this and run. So we're getting a false. But if we have the other way around and say y is greater than x, then this should return a true. So this is returning a true. Let's have a look at less equal operator. So this is less equal operator. X is less equal to y. So x is equal to 5 and y is equal to 10. So it means that x is less equal to 5. So first we are checking if x is equal to y. So if y is 5 and x is 5, this should return a true. And also if x is less than y, it should also return a true. So let's run this. So we're getting a true. So let's also have another example for less equal to. We have a variable y that is equal to variable x. They both have the value of 5. So let's compare x and w. So first we are checking if they are equal, and if they are equal, it will also return a true. If x is less than w, we should also get a true. So in this scenario, we are expecting a true because x and w are of equal values. So let me save that, then we run. So we are also getting a true because x and w are equal. So lastly, let's have a look at greater equal to. So we have greater equal to operator. So if x is equal to y, we should get a true, and also if x is greater than y, we should also get a true. So x and y. So we have x is less than y. It means that this is going to return a false. So let's save and see. So this one is returning a false. If y is greater equal to x, then this will be true because the value of y is greater than x. So let's save. So if we run, we are getting a true. And also if we were to say x and w, since x and w have the same value, this should also return a true if we have w and x. So if we run this, it should also return a true. So that's it for comparison operator. So next, let's look at the logical operators. Logical operators are used to combine multiple conditions or expressions. They evaluate these conditions and return a Boolean value, true or false. This is crucial when making decisions in your code. PHP supports several logical operators. So we're going to start looking at AND operator. So the AND operator returns true if both conditions are true. So right here we have 4 variables with values true, false, with values true and false respectively. So we're going to use the logical operator AND on A and B. So I'll have my code right here. This statement checks if both A and B are true, and if both A and B are true, then we'll get the output as both are true. Else we'll get at least one is false. So let's save this and run the script on the browser. So we're getting at least one is true. So if we were to check the variables with both values true, let's say A and C, we will get an output that both are true. So let's save this, then let's run our script on the browser. So we're getting both are true. So the next operator I'm going to look at is the OR operator. So we're still going to use the variables above. So I'm going to use the OR operator on A and B. So the OR operator returns true if at least one of the condition is true. So in this case, we have A as true, even though we have B as false. So this one should echo at least one condition is true. So let's run our script on the browser. So we are getting at least one condition is true. So now let's look on the NOT operator. So this inverts the Boolean value of an expression. So in this example, we have flag set to true. So it's simply going to invert whatever we have in the variable or in the expression that is being checked. So in this case, if we set the flag to true, it means that we're going to get a message here if the Boolean is an inverse of the expression. So it means that if this is true, we are going to check the else statement. But if it is false, then since it is not true, it's going to echo flag is false. So let's save this and run our script. So we should be expecting our output as flag is true. We also have increment and decrement operators used to increase or decrease a value of a variable by 1. So let's look at this example. So we have the variable A set to 5 and B set to 6. And right here we are using an increment operator. On this echo statement, we're going to use the decrement operator. So we should get the value of this as 6, while the value of B as 5, because right here we are decreasing by 1, whereas in the first echo statement, we are using the increment operator, which is going to increase the value of A by 1. So let's save this and let's refresh our browser. So before that, we left a comma right there. So let's run the script on our browser. So as you can see, we've incremented the value of A, now it is 6, while we've decremented the value of B, now it's 5. Understanding PHP operators is fundamental to writing efficient and clear code. Arithmetic operators help perform calculations. Comparison operators enable value comparisons, and logical operators facilitate complex conditions. By mastering this, you can be able to build more powerful and dynamic PHP applications. So thank you. See you into our next lecture.